1, 2, 3.
What's up, CRU? My name is Jessie, and this is my friend Sophie, and we are so excited that you have joined us for CR Youth Online. And while we are sad that you're not in person with us, we are so excited that you've still made CR Youth a priority in your week.
Yeah.
And you're watching from home, so you're probably like in your PJs.
I mean, even though you can't be in person, like being in your PJs every Wednesday night is kind of a win.
Ooh, yeah.
Because I mean, we have to wear jeans.
Yeah, we can't,
every Wednesday.
We can't be in our PJs,
No
so you win.
But you guys, tonight is going to be an incredible night. We have our Hastings youth pastor, Grace. Do you know Grace?
I do. She's actually my roommate.
So you actually live with Grace.
I live with Grace, and she's got a really incredible message in store for us
Yes,
tonight.
we are so excited, but that's later tonight. But right now, if you want to participate in worship, you can click the Spotify link below that actually we update every single week with the songs that we are singing in person. So take some time with Jesus right before you step into the message, and we're really, really excited for what tonight has.
Yes, and we love worship, but we also love community. We love small groups. And what's so great is that you have an opportunity to be involved in small groups even though you're at home. So if you know who your small group leader is, we want you to get your phone out, we want you to text your leader and see if they can FaceTime you into your small groups or Zoom if you have an Android and figure out a way to get you involved tonight. But if you don't know who your leader is, we would love for you to email this link or this email address below, and then we'll figure out how to get you involved in a small group next week.
But we hope you guys have an epic night, and check this out.
What's up, CR Youth? My name is Grace, and I am the youth pastor at the Hastings Campus, and I am so excited to be joining you for the last week of At the Movies to talk about this movie right here, Black Panther. That's my cat, Benny. All right, let's, Black Panther. He's so cute. I don't know why he sleeps like that, but one more time. Black Panther. Boom. We got it. It's okay. So if you've seen this movie, if you haven't seen this movie, what are you doing? It's a great movie. Watch the movie. But if you haven't, that's okay. I brought the trailer so you can kind of get an idea of what this movie is all about. So will you go ahead and check this out?
I have seen gods fly. I've seen men build weapons that I couldn't even imagine. I've seen aliens drop from the sky.
Yeah.
But I have never seen anything like this. How much more are you hiding?
Hold up. Let's go.
We are home. My son, it is your time.
Show me my respect and bow down.
You get to decide what kind of king you are going to be. Don't freeze.
I never freeze.
The revolution will not be televised.
Show me my respect and bow down. We own now. We only getting started now. Cause we own now. Everybody think they know me now. Cause we own now. You and I'm a homie now. Cause we own now.
I waited my entire life for this. The world's gonna start over. I'ma burn it all.
What happens now determines what happens to the rest of the world.
You will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. Wakanda forever! The revolution will not be televised. Let's have some fun. The revolution will be live.
Come on. That's so cool. That movie, like just the trailer. You might not have even seen the movie, but like the trailer in itself, so cool. It's so cool. Now, Chadwick, who plays Black Panther, actually recently passed away, and it would be a disservice to him to not mention that he was actually an amazing follower of Jesus and played a role that impacted so many. So big just a shout out to him. But this movie, now this movie, it's got a lot of different characters and a lot of different moving parts. So I need you guys to like buckle up with me and like I'm gonna do a family tree, okay? We're gonna keep track of this. So this family tree right here, we've got Black Panther, right? Black Panther. This is his dad. This is his uncle. And that's his cousin, okay? Now, the backstory that you need to know to kind of understand what's going on is that his dad has recently passed away, and he is becoming king. Now, he's trying to figure out what it's going to be like to be king and what he's going to do different and keep the same, and he's the king of Wakanda. Now, if you don't know, Wakanda's, like, real cool. I'm trying not to get too nerdy on you guys, but it's like they got real smarts. Like they've got like high-tech technology. They can like heal people faster. They literally, guys, they are in the real world, yet they have a shield around their whole entire like country so no one knows that they exist unless they want you to know they exist. Who knew? So Wakanda, it's an epic place full of just great resources, great technology, great place. So he's now the king of it. But long ago, these brothers right here, his dad and his uncle got in a fight because his uncle went to America and realized that there's like some issues going on in the world and that he wanted to help. He wanted to figure out a way to share what Wakanda was doing, but he didn't go about it the right way. And actually, Black Panther's dad actually killed his uncle. Now, that left the cousin. Now, you would think like, oh, well, then like he took the cousin in and like whatever. That's not what happened. Actually, Black Panther's dad left him in America, just like left and went back to Wakanda, back to everything else. And I need you to remember that because we're going to circle back to that. So hold on to that. But I actually want to read the quote that kind of started this whole argument between these brothers. This uncle says this quote right here. All over the planet, our people suffer because they don't have the tools to fight back. See, the uncle had this perspective that they should do something with the things that Wakanda had. Because remember, it has a lot of cool stuff that could help a lot of people. But the trend in Wakanda, which again, Black Panther's trying to figure out what he's going to do with this, because the trend is the previous kings thought that they should just hide Wakanda. They should make sure that they protect their own. They make sure that their discoveries aren't found. And Black Panther, as he's becoming king, has to try to figure out what this is going to look like for him. And actually, he kind of, in the beginning, lines up more with the previous kings. And you can see that in this clip.
Come home, Nakia.
I'm right here.
Stay.
I came to support you and to honor your father, but I can't stay. It's just, I found my calling out there. I've seen too many in need just to turn a blind eye. I can't be happy here knowing that there's people out there who have nothing.
What would you have Wakanda do about it?
Share what we have. We could provide aid and access to technology and refuge to those who need it. Other countries do it, we could do it better.
We are not like these other countries, Nakia. If the world found out what we truly are, what we possess, we could lose our way of life.
Wakanda is strong enough to help others and protect ourselves at the same time.
If you are not so stubborn, you would make a great queen.
I would make a great queen because I am so stubborn. If that's what I wanted.
I love that scene because Nakia, who's Black Panther's crush, I mean, if you couldn't tell, like literally the way he looked at her at the beginning of that scene, so cute, goals. But Nakia actually brings up the same thing where she realizes her calling is to go and help people. She can't stand by after the things she's seen. She needs to help. And remember when I mentioned that we were going to circle back to the cousin, right? Now the cousin, remember he got left. They didn't take him back to Wakanda when his dad died. He was left, and he in that time frame comes into the movie later, and he's carrying a lot of baggage. He's carrying a lot of hurt, and he's carrying a lot of the same motives his dad has, but he's struggling to figure out how that's going to look, and he has a fight. Black Panther and his cousin have a fight, and they go at it because they're trying to figure out where is Wakanda's place in the rest of the world. And through this conflict and this fight, Black Panther kind of has a change of tune when it comes to what his perspective originally was. Now, I could keep explaining it, but I actually think that this clip will show it to you a little bit better.
Kuba, why didn't you bring the boy home? Why, Baba?
He was the truth I chose to omit.
You were wrong to abandon him.
I chose my people. I chose Wakanda. Our future depended
You were wrong! All of you are wrong! To turn your backs on the rest of the world. We let the fear of our discovery stop us from doing what is right. No more.
Black Panther almost does like a 180 when it comes to his original perspective. And to be honest, I love the quote that he gave for this, and he says, "You were wrong. All of you were wrong to turn your back on the rest of the world. We let the fear of our discoveries stop us from doing what is right. No more." See, Black Panther realizes they can no longer keep doing what they keep doing by ignoring the world and by not entering in to help those around them. Now, Sierra Youth, you're probably sitting here like, okay, like, so good synopsis of the movie, Grace, but what does this have to do with us in like church? Well, I'm glad you asked, because what I think we forget is that sometimes we are easy to become Wakanda. And what do I mean by that is there's times where we can enter into church and we can experience the truth of Jesus' love and his forgiveness and his hope and his everything that he's done in our lives of healing broken things in your life. We can experience all that, right? And then we can keep it within these walls. We can keep it to ourselves. We can be like Wakanda, where we would rather make sure we're good than taking care of those around us. And again, I want to bring back that quote that the uncle had where he said, all over the planet, our people suffer because they don't have the tools to fight back. So often what happens is church gives us these tools that we apply to our own lives and we see it work, but we're not stepping into the worlds around us. We're not going to our friends or our families and sharing the things that we've discovered. We keep it to ourselves, and then what's happening is the world keeps suffering. I think all of you guys could probably think of some things that are going on in your friends' lives or the world that you're like, wow, yep, there's a lot of suffering going on. There's a lot of loneliness. There's a lot of brokenness. There's people that are lost and struggling and they're sad, and there's so much that's going on for suffering, and often the world tries. The world really tries to give tools for this. They give distractions, they give relationships that you think are gonna fix things, they give substances. There's just different ways that they try to fix these things, but in reality, we have the ultimate tool. We have Jesus that can help this suffering. And I love Nakia because the thing that she says is that she has a calling. And she'd be ignoring her calling if she stayed back and she didn't do what she was meant to do, which is to go help people and to bring hope to them. And actually, what you might not know is that Jesus does the same thing with us. See, once we step into that relationship with Jesus, we actually get a calling on our life that Jesus gives to us in Matthew. So let's take a look at that. It says, therefore, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you, and surely I am with you always to the very end of the age. What I love about the first two words, therefore, go. It doesn't say, hey, yo, you have Jesus now. Put your feet up, like, check mark, you got it. Okay, watch Netflix and just hang out. No, what actually it says is therefore go. Once you have Jesus, go. Don't just stay where you've always been, not impacting others. And disciple is kind of like a big word, like I get it. It's kind of like a big, like, churchy word. But basically it's saying, go and share Jesus. Go and make more followers of Jesus. Help more people know him. That's basically what Jesus is saying to us is go do that. And what I love is that it's not just like how we handle conversations, but it's actually who we are. It's who we choose to be when we follow Jesus, because there's something different about someone who like loves the Lord. There's a different light, and actually that's what they talk about in Matthew. A little bit later it says, "You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." What I love is that you become the light. You become the difference in people's lives. And sometimes I get it, like it can be a little scary, and there's some fear that comes with that of, what do I have to do to reach other people? And I know in Black Panther, they fear that the discovery is gonna ruin everything that they have, and people are gonna take over. They have all these fears. But for you, maybe the fear is that you might say the wrong thing. Someone might ask you a question about Jesus, and you have no idea what to say. Or maybe you're sitting there and you really enjoy Wednesdays because like you don't have to think about anything else, you don't have to worry about anything else, and bringing someone else into your small group might change the dynamic, even though that person might need Jesus. Or maybe for some of you, it's a fear of embarrassment, of being made fun of. There's different things that we can carry into fear, but what I love is that the light of Jesus goes before us. That the light of knowing who he is, and many of you do know him, and that's what's so cool is you get that opportunity. So my question for you tonight really comes down to this. Are you ready to step up and fulfill your calling? We all have that calling. You, me, followers of Jesus, we have the calling to make more disciples, to make more followers of Jesus. And now, I don't mean just like invite them to church. Yes, we want you guys to bring your friends to See Our Youth. What's so cool is See Our Youth is literally made for you. And it's made for you to bring your friends to. And we want to help you do that. We want to give you a space that makes it really easy to invite your friends to be a part of. But what the reality is that sometimes it's not going to fix all their problems just because they come to church. But I will say that the light and the joy that comes from a relationship with Jesus matters. And for you, you might think like, well, only pastors can actually like bring people like to Jesus. Like I can't do that. Like I'm just in 8th grade or whatever. But in reality, your other youth pastors, your leaders even, we're not actually in like the friend groups that you have. We might not even meet any of those friends unless you brought them to church. There are family members that live in different states that you have interactions with that we might never. And so it becomes your calling too. And it can feel a little daunting. I get that because it's like, okay, where do I start? I want to make that impact. I want to go outside. And what I want to encourage you is that it starts with one. And for me, I actually had this experience with my small group leader when I was in high school. See, my small group leader, man, shout out to her because I was a turd. I was very rambunctious and I was a punk, and she put up with a lot. So major shout out to her. But her name was Kelly. And Kelly, I'm really excited to say, is actually like my honorary sister, and we are great friends now. But one time, she was my small group leader when I was 15 in high school, and there was a lot of drama, and a lot of things going on in my life. And what was so cool is she fulfilled her calling by the way that she loved and led me. She was a lot like your guys' small group leaders that love and take care of you guys. And she challenged me. She encouraged me to read the Bible. She encouraged me to pray. She fulfilled her calling by making sure that I knew Jesus. And I remember specifically there was one time where this church that I went to, it had a lot of passion when it came to camps. And I realized very quickly that I love camp. I love everything about camp, kind of like the retreats we go to. And this camp that was coming up, they needed small group leaders for the junior high camp. And I had never led before, but I realized that I had something, I had a passion, I had a heart for something that I needed to do something with. I needed to stop just having the tools for myself, but I needed to share the tools. I needed to share my Wakanda, right, with these people. And so I signed up, but I remember talking to Kelly and being like, Kelly, I don't know what to do. Junior hires? I don't know. By the way, junior hires, you guys rock. Like, seriously, so cool. But I didn't know what to do because I had never led before. I had never stepped out to share about Jesus. And the weekend came and it went and it was amazing. And it was so cool to feel like I wasn't alone because I had other leaders there that I could talk to. I had friends that I could talk to. But what was cool is by the end of that week, I saw the impact that Jesus made in these students' lives. And it ignited a passion in me that didn't stop. It still hasn't stopped. I love teenagers. But what was cool is 6 years later, a little flash forward for you, I had the opportunity to go to my last middle school camp before I transitioned out of this church. And we had one of those nights where, you guys know what I'm talking about, one of those nights where probably Jesse Golnick is preaching and everyone's crying, and they line the stage with the leaders and they have the students come up and the leaders pray over the students. And I had this moment where, again, 6 years later, I looked down the line of leaders and I looked to both sides. And what I saw were these girls right here. And what's so cool about these girls, and this is one of my proudest pictures to show off because these girls really embodied fulfilling their calling. Because I then was able to lead these girls because Kelly led me. And at that camp, 6 years later after my first one, most of these girls for their first time were praying over their students and pouring into those around them. And it was an amazing moment to realize as someone who is just trying to share more Jesus, and as someone who has received the love of Jesus from my friends and my leaders. And I tell you this story because I want you to realize it started with one. It started with one. It started with Kelly chose me to pour into. And then I went to my first camp. And then these girls went to their first camp. And it started with one. But it started because there's this reality that, again, all over the planet, our people suffer because they don't have the tools that they need. So students, who's your one? If I ask you, I flip it to you, who's your one? Who's your one that's suffering and needs that hope and that joy and that comfort that comes with Jesus? Or maybe you can recall last week when we talked about eternity. And Jesse we talked about the movie Clouds, and we talked about eternity and that the decisions you make now impact your eternity. And for you guys, you got that chance to think about yourself last week, but if I was to ask you, where are your friends headed? What are their eternities looking like? Could you answer it? Are you willing to have the conversations to give them the tools that they need to impact their now and their eternity? And so I know you're online, and I know you might feel like you can't bring a friend to church right now, but what I do know is that we can start somewhere. We can start with one. And so I want you to literally write down a friend. Write down a name of a friend that you're going to be praying for, that you're going to be talking to. Maybe you invite them to watch Sierra Youth online. You guys can watch and text and have a watch party, and then join small groups after. But I want you to also text your leader and text your youth pastor and tell them, well, who is the student that you are praying and talking to? Because we want to be alongside with you. Again, when I was in high school, Kelly never let me just do things on my own. She walked with me, and we're walking with you. So as we head into the rest of the night, I just want to let you guys know that we're praying for you. We love you, and we're so proud of you, and that eternities are going to be changed because of you guys. So let me pray for you. God, we thank you so much that we know people in our lives that need you, that we have a calling and we have a purpose to have others meet and be changed by you. We pray that we're bold and we're confident to share who you are, and that we're able to see life change in our friends and in our schools, and that it goes beyond just us. Let us no longer keep the tools and the things that we know to ourselves, God. You are so, so good, and we thank you so much. In Jesus' name, amen.